Hello, and my name is Delias Paris. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, my intention is to do sort of everything related to paper crafting and junk journals. I live on a little 11-acre farm, so I grow all of my dye materials and plan on selling these. I also, work with all of them. So today's video is on eco printing. And where did I put my, here's my samples. I love eco printing for junk journals. I think it's beautiful. So this is going to be sort of the very beginning video of eco printing. And as we move forward, we'll get into some more advanced techniques and dye baths and, barrier blankets, all of these different things. But we're going to start today with just the very, very beginning. I'm just going to give you a feel for some of what some of these look like. This is the maple. I've got some, these are Cosmo, just some of the flower petals, which I think is so beautiful. Do we have enough light? Let's see. See if I can get us more light. Is that better? Okay. These are the whole Cosmo sulfuris. This is a really great dye flower. It's brainless. I love it. I grow a lot of these. And then these are some leaves that I did. Let's see. Let's open it up. These ones, I just do sort of a random, and I love that. I think it's gorgeous. It's one of my favorite ways, actually, sort of. This one. And as you can see, we've got fainter, darker. Let's give you an idea of what they look like in a journal. So it might be hard to see, but even this background paper is eco printed. And then I took the Japanese maple, pressed it, and adhered that to the front. So I really like plant-based journals. I've got some eco prints here. See if I also press, dry and press and laminate. We've got some here. Let's see, give you one more example and then we'll, here we go. This is an autumn olive. I just think that's beautiful. And I love framing my paper. I just think that's really nice. So let's talk a little bit about equipment. I think it's really important to, actually, it's a must. It's not really important, it's a must. To have separate dye equipment from your kitchen equipment. So all of this stuff is stuff you're going to use from the kitchen, but we are not going to pull stuff from the kitchen unless we plan on making that a permanent dye pot, colander, whatever it is. Once you use these utensils to dye with plant-based materials, don't use it in the kitchen. I source all of my stuff from Goodwill. I've had great luck with that. It's inexpensive. And when I was near the kitchen, I labeled everything. Now I have my complete workshop. It's separate, so everything lives here. Let's go ahead and here's some of the plants that I'm going to be using today. And everything I have is from the farm. So I'm really, really, really lucky that I have just a bounty of material to work with. These are the sulfuris Cosmos. I grew these, I started these from seed back in February. This is an amazing dye flower. I've got some coreopsis. There's lots of coreopsis, and I actually had some. I haven't tried, these are the tinctoria, which are the true coreopsis dye that's been used for ages. I'm pretty sure the regular, like the hybrids of coreopsis will work too, but I haven't tried them because I just went straight to the heart and started growing my own. And I'll have these in bulk and pressed for sale in my Etsy shop once I get everything set up if you don't have access. But you're definitely going to have access to flowers. And grab flowers. Give them a try. Try to identify them. Make sure they're not poisonous. Make sure you're not hurting yourself. Don't drink the flower water. But I played a lot. I know my tulip poplar leaves work really, really well. I love tulip poplar. Anything in the maple family is going to be a gorgeous print. I've got some birch leaves that I found work really well. This is an autumn olive. And I've got like 7 of these. We purchased the farm, and this was already growing. And for the longest time, I didn't know what it was. And I finally was like, okay, because it kept saying it was an autumn olive, and I didn't believe it, but it is an autumn olive. See, Google doesn't lie. And this is a ginormous oak leaf, which is going to be too big. But these I know will all work really, really well. So I just grabbed what I knew would work, but I experiment all the time. So you're going to find that even cosmos from one farm to the next may have a slightly different variation in color. Your mineral content in your dirt, what happened with the weather that year, how much water they got, all of this stuff comes into play when you're dyeing with plants. And that's actually kind of what I love about it. I feel really, really, really connected to what's going on in the world, and what's going on, you know, in nature. So, I mean, I know it's cheesy, but I love it. It's kind of my thing. I use a mordant. A mordant permanently adheres the dye pigment to the material. So we've got cellulose and we've got protein. Protein is your silk, your wool. Cellulose is your cotton, your paper. And we're working with paper today. So I'm going to make an alum mordant, and I'm going to show you how to do this. Alum's considered kind of one of the safest. I love it for paper. It brightens the colors. It makes them more color fast and wash fast. Obviously, we're not really washing the paper, but like I said, I work with all sorts of materials. I dye yarn, I dye clothing, I dye tablecloths, but I really love dyeing paper. So I'm going to show you how to do this. And when I make an alum bath, I make a big jar. This is a quart jar, and I'll make my bath, and then I just use this until it gets down to about this much, and then I'll kind of refresh it and make a new bath. But I'm not about making a mordant every time I need it. So let's start off with that. This is the way I do it. I'm going to move my dish towel. And I've got a hot plate. Sorry, that noise was awful. I've got a hot plate. I bought this from Amazon. I think it was like 12 bucks. Works fine for me. And I've already started warming my water because alum is sort of crystallized and it needs a warm bath to dissolve in. So I just did a little water. I don't need all of it warmed up. And I'm going to take my alum crystals and I'm just going to measure out 2 tablespoons. And this is what I found works for me. The thing about eco printing is everything is different. Everything is unique. Each person does it a little bit differently. And each person experiments and finds new ways and new interesting sort of techniques. And I kind of love that. I love anything that I can kind of keep growing with. So this is the bath I use for my paper. I found it's kind of a great starting point. And I'm just going to get these crystals dissolved. So I don't know if you can see. They're already disappearing. Okay. Almost gone. And I think those are gone. What do y'all think? Okay. So once I get this, normally I would pour it into my quart jar, but my quart jar is already full. So I would pour this into my jar and then top it with cold water. That's all you're going to do, okay? I'm going to set this aside because I don't want to waste it. And I'm trying to, actually, you know what? You know what we're going to do? Ha ha ha. Every once in a while, I'm smarter than I think I am. I use a baking sheet for my alum. So, for dipping my paper in. So, this, as you can see, I got it from Goodwill. It's old, but it works. So, let me get some stuff out of the way. Okay. So, I'm going to pour this in here. It's going to be, actually, I'm going to pour just a little bit because that's going to be pretty strong. Okay. And let's top this with some cold water. See if I can move the hot plate. I literally put like tape barriers on either side of my camera so I knew what you guys could see, because this is sort of new for me. Well, actually it is new for me because it's my first time doing an eco print video. And I was just a little like, okay, it's a bigger space. It needs more equipment than just doing a little paper project. So bear with me. I think we'll figure this out and I'll get better and better, and y'all will get better and better, and we'll all do it together. Hopefully, ideally. Okay, so this is my alum bath. Now, when you're doing material, silk, cotton, whatever, there's lots of different mordants. And we'll talk about those as we move forward. We're going to start with alum. I think it's the basic mordant to start with. It's very beginner friendly. It feels pretty safe. I mean, they even use alum in cooking, right? We are going to, so some items you would actually soak possibly overnight, maybe for days, to get that mordant to adhere. But paper's thin, and we don't need to soak all the way through. We're just looking to coat the surface because, you know, we're not going to be washing this, right? We're not going to be using this every day. It's going to live in a journal. So what I do is, and I'm going to do index cards for sake of smallness and ease, but this, any size paper, you're going to be fine. Okay. We're trying to keep this all just to kind of stick on camera. We'll do bigger pages later, I promise. Okay, so I'm just going to throw these in, and I will actually put them in and then flip them, just because I really want to make sure they get in there. And then I'm just going to give them a few seconds, and I take them out. I let some of that drip off, but I've still got a slick surface, and I'm just going to lay that here. See if I can show you. Just right there. We're going to get a little row going. Ah, here we go. Oh, hi. Here I am. Okay. And that's going to just continue to kind of soak into the surface of the paper. And when I do my dyeing, I try and do as much as I can. We're not going to today because I'm teaching. I'm not doing a batch, but I like to always have a pot going. And originally I started thinking, oh, I'm just going to sort of make and sell plant-based dyes. And then I got, you know how it is. I got into the junk journals, and I got into the paper crafting, and I got into so much more. Actually, I very originally was going to do yarn, because I'm a really big knitter, and I love plant-based kind of hand-dyed yarn. I think it's gorgeous. But one thing led to another, and I love that about life, right? You never know where the journey is going to take you. Often, I find that, you know, when something I don't want to happens in my life, it's about 2 years later that I go, oh, that's why that happened. I get it now. It's kind of funny. And then I'm grateful that it did happen because it led to something else. But at the time, I could not see the plan. And I was like, why is this happening to me? So life is cool. You never know where you're going to go. Okay, enough said. So I've just got these, and I'm going to remove this because we're just going to do a little tutorial, just get you started. So I'm going to get this out of the way. Sorry, I wanted to make sure it was far enough away that the dogs couldn't get it. It needed to be up high. So here are my index cards just sitting here ready. And I'm going to get my, okay, so this is the method I do, is I use 2 ceramic tiles. And I have these in a variety of sizes. So I have huge ones. I've got, sort of middle of the road ones. So depending on how big my paper is how big I'll use my tile, and obviously how big of a pot you're going to need. But these work really well for the index card. So I've got 2. You can get these at Home Depot, Lowe's, or sometimes at like, at, what is it called? The Nope. No barking. The sort of builder Goodwills. Oh, I'm forgetting the name. Is it Habitat for Humanity? I think it's Habitat. We have a restore here. And I have 2 large binder clips. So I'm going to start with getting one of my index cards. I'm going to place it down. Yeah. And we're going to play. Let's play with our plants. I'm going to get these out of the way. And so I think, so this is the sun side up of a leaf. And that, oh, sorry, is, you know, obviously sun side down. This, I find, gives me a better imprint than the face side. This is thinner, and you get all of that really gorgeous detail. So that's how I do mine. So I'm going to put a maple leaf. I really love any of the leaves that have been eaten by bugs. This one's not quite ready, but fall is here. We're going to get so much cool stuff. We'll talk about harvesting now for the future, because we're going to have to do that, right? So I know a lot of times with my projects, I want writing space. So I like to almost frame around. But like I said, oh, you know what? Let's do a coreopsis. Kind of there in the middle. Oh, I like that idea. Okay. And maybe one more leaf. Okay. And now I'm going to put my next index card. If you are particular about not wanting these, because we're going to stack these papers, and you're going to find that you get color, sort of, you're going to get the reverse print on the next piece of paper. So what I do, I've got all these little pieces of plastic I cut up, and I'm just going to stack one here and one here. And now I know this is only going to die on that first index card. So now I'm going to put down my second one. If you don't care, by all means, just stack them. But if you stack them, try and sort of like, kind of keep them offset, because it's easier to get them off. Yeah. Okay, we'll do one of these. Let's do some autumn olive. Now, the autumn olive is funny because I did this in the spring, and I got some of the coolest prints I've ever gotten. But I did a batch of these the other day, and I didn't have as much color. So let's see if I just did it, you know, had a weird day, or if we get better color maybe in the spring then. And on this one, you know what? I'm going to take some petals off. Let's get maybe one more. Okay. And some more plastic. And another index card. Here's my birch. Let's do the birch. And let's see what else we got. Oh, tulip poplar. Where's the tulip poplar? Here you are. You know what? I'm going to put you on this corner. Let's do a whole Cosmo. Do we have a whole Cosmo? Yeah. I went to harvest the last of my Cosmos. Was it yesterday? And it is bee mating season. So every flower, like, and they're not up on top. They're hidden, like, in the sides of the leaves, like, sandwiched. And, you know, there were 2 bees doing their thing. And I couldn't harvest them. They were, like, on pretty much every flower. And I was like, okay, I'm walking away from this. We'll leave these for a little while and see how it goes. Okay, here's another index card. And let's see. You know what? Let's go crazy on this one. I usually take off the extra stem. Do one of these. We will throw on a coreopsis. I love both coreopsis and cosmos. I just think they're gorgeous. And so easy to grow, guys. I mean, if you have the space, don't buy this stuff. Grow it. I mean, I just think it's so rewarding. And it feels so good. The only reason I planned on offering it was, I mean, I used to live in the city. I lived in Atlanta for, God, how long? 12 years. And I didn't have the space for this kind of stuff. So I thought, well, and then some people just don't have the time, right? Throw this one on there. This one will be kind of fun. We'll see how this turns out. I just like to play. I find that the more pieces I have, you know, there's always a good fit for every journal or tag, because I make all kinds of things out of these, just like y'all will. Okay, let's see. We want some plastic, little barrier. In the beginning, I just stacked them, and then I got pickier and pickier. And let's do one last one, and we're just gonna, I'm just pressing that down a little. Okay, last one. Let's, you know what? I'm going to do a big chunk of this. I just thought this was some of the prettiest. Apparently these autumn olives, and I did not plant these, but they are invasive, apparently. I think they come, where did they say they came from? Oh, it was somewhere in Asia. Was it Japan? I think it was Japan. But I haven't had any problems with mine. We've got a whole row of them planted in the back, and they're not spreading. So that's one of the reasons why I just wasn't sure. And the berries are edible. I haven't eaten any yet. My husband and I were like, okay, we got to eat them. And both of us are waiting for the other to do it first. We're so weird. We're supposed to be more evolved than that, aren't we? And this one, I'm going to sprinkle again. Cinnamon, stop, please stop. Or you guys are going to have to go outside. Okay. Okay. Cinnamon, Rusty, come on. Come on. Out. Out. They don't even know what to do. They're never locked out. They kind of run, they run the farm, I got to tell you. They run my life in a good way because I love them so much. I let them get away with murder. Okay. And I'm just going to put this one sandwich on the top to seal it. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to take our other tile and we are pressing this straight down. And I usually give it a little press. And we're going to clip it with these two large binder clips. I'm going to clip here. And I'm going to clip here. Oh, hold on. Here you are. Here. Snap those down. And we've got a sandwich cookie plant dyed paper. We're doing only one today because I don't want to like overwhelm you. I want this to be a real good entry level beginner, something anyone can do. Okay. So now, that's cool. I got a pot holder right here. Let's throw it on the pot holder. We are going to bring over a hot plate again. And, there you are. Okay, let me move. I'm going to put these plastics back. Okay. There we go. Get our workspace nice and tidy, especially since we're working with heat. Get these out of the way. These extras. I'll dye these with tea later. Okay. So, here you go. Okay. So I'm just going to get a pot. Oh, that's, sorry. That is a coffee dye. No, that's a walnut dye. Let me get that out of the way. Let's get another pot. Oh, I have a pot right here. My goodness, I'm a mess. Okay. And all I did was fill this with some water. So you only need enough water to cover. And so a lot of times I'll do these, I'll make 7 of these. However many I can fit. I found on this size pot, I can fit 4 really easily. So I'm just going to throw this in here. We're going to boil this. So there's all these different techniques. This is sort of the most beginner friendly, I think. And so the eco print isn't as crisp, but I love it. I think it's kind of magical and mysterious and gorgeous. It's actually still one of my favorite ways. And And let's turn on our hot plate. Are we on? Hold on. There. Nope, that's off. There. And we're going to cover it. Whoa! We are not going to do that. Okay, that must be the wrong lid. Let's see where the other lid is. Ah, here you are. We're going to cover it with the correct lid. Now, this one doesn't have a steam hole, so I just leave it, just crack it a little bit. And we're going to let this go for 2 hours. I tend to go 2 hours on my sort of boiling my eco prints. That works for me. I usually get great results. So I'm going to leave this for 2 hours, and then we will open it up and do a reveal. Okay.